You don't. You don't have to be a dog trainer. It may be the first dog you've ever owned. As long as your dog can pass the test successfully, you're welcomed into, you know, the Therapy Dog International family as a volunteer. You mentioned earlier that, you know, sometimes the people with impairment own the dog.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike a service dog, a therapy dog offers comfort and support to other individuals, rather than a service dog that is provided public access rights and things of that nature. So a therapy dog differs from a service dog in that aspect.
Oh, I see. So what qualities do you look for in a dog that, I mean, there are probably some that you rule out right at the start. How do you do that?
You're really looking for temperament. The temperament is the most important part that we're looking for. The dog has to want people to pet it. It has to seek out affection, but it can't do so in a rude way. It can't run over to you and put its paw on your lap, because a patient or someone who's elderly could get scratched very easily. The dog has to seek out affection, and it has to want to do the job that's being asked of it. Therapy dog can be a stressful, you know, job for these dogs. You're asking a lot of them to go in and volunteer and visit with different people.
A lot of self-control.
Exactly. And so mentally it's very fatiguing for the dogs. But more so than just temperament, we're also looking for obedience. The dog does have to be obedient. They have to sit, they have to stay, they have to be able to stand by your side so you can ride up, you know, to a floor in an elevator or walk through a hall that's kind of crowded with a bunch of people. So as much as temperament is the most important factor, it's not the only factor. Obedience is definitely in there as well.
Since I can't ask Nitro, tell me, Barbara, how does your dog like that?
He loves
all
it.
That
He
therapy.
loves it. He absolutely loves it. But like Alex was saying, we volunteer for 2 hours. We come home and he sleeps all day long. He really enjoys
exhausting.
it, but it is exhausting. Yeah, yeah.
For all the things that Alex was mentioning?
Exactly. And people are hugging him and laughing on him and crying, and I do think he feels those emotions, and he goes home and rests then. Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. So how can people get involved with this organization?
People can go online actually at visit tdi-dog.org.
TDI-dog.org.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, and they can visit that website. It will, you know, give you a bunch of different information, from how to contact TDI to the testing requirements that your dog will be required to test and pass in order to be registered with TDI. And it'll also give you, you know, some background information. Why join TDI? Yeah, I know you had, you know, a woman here with hospice earlier, and you know, those are things TDI does as well. They are involved with hospice. So
That very creative approach and a nice linking of what someone wants to do with a volunteer activity and a dog. I think it must be very rewarding for all of you.
It is. It absolutely is.
Thank you so much. That's really raising the consciousness of something that I was not aware of at all, and I think that dog is remarkably well.
Thank you.
Well trained.
Thank you.
Good self-control. We'll be right back with the next segment of Aging is for Everyone. Thank you.
you're welcome.
further down, put it.
Is it attached? It looks like it's just.
I'm not shy, don't worry. Okay.
Are we good?
Sitch?
Sitch, Kenwell Sitch. Yeah.
Very unusual name.
It is. It's one of these days. In the meantime,
Because it looks like it was cut off somewhere along the way. It was.
It was more.
Phone call.
We're losing something.
I brought a few just in case if we have time.
Oh, great, yeah.
You know?
Definitely wanted to see that.
Yeah. This is just from the last quantity. Wouldn't it be more fun if I just coughed into that? I'm just talking, and how does it sound? Does it sound okay? ABC, 1, 2, 3.
Can you talk one more time?
I could talk forever.
Welcome back to Aging is for Everyone. I'm Marion Deutschman, sitting in for Laura Mondello. We continue our discussion of alternative therapies for the elderly. I understand that art therapy activities are an excellent way to manage unhappiness, trauma, stress. It helps people discover themselves. But I have to check with our guest to see if that's true. Our guest is Catherine Canwell Sitch from the Western New York chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, and her program is called Memories in the Making.
It is.
What is Memories in the Making?
Well, Memories in the Making isn't specifically art therapy. It was designed in the year 2000 by the Alzheimer's Association as a way of, for individuals that are memory impaired, to be able to express themselves through another mode of communication via art, via creative expression. Also has the element of socialization that the music therapist mentioned earlier. And it also has a unique thing that the participants, when they do their paintings and they describe their story behind the painting, they can choose to auction them off at an annual auction that we have, and to actually give back and for research into Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia as well.
So, is it fundraising as well as everything else?
A lot of different, it's multiple layers of benefit. So it benefits the individual who's participating in it. It really is beneficial to the families as well, who get to have some of these people will keep the artwork. There's one lady whose daughter always keeps them and turns them into T-shirts and gives them to all the family members. So it's lovely. But yes, if they choose to, they can be part of the solution trying to raise money for research for Alzheimer's, which is lovely.
And now where is this auction? How
Oh,
do you-
the auction, it's at different locations each year. You could check with the Alzheimer's Association to find out. It's part of our annual meeting that they do as well. But the Memories in the Making classes are once a month, and they meet right at the Alzheimer's Association on Worley in Village, actually, I guess it's Williamsville, Amherst.
Harris Hill Road.
Harris Hill Road,
Harris
yes.
Hill and Worley. So the goals of the program, what happens in the class?
Okay.
You said verbalization, they do
Yes.
artwork,
So
and you've got some of
I've
that
got some of this beautiful artwork. We have such extraordinary individuals that come in, and it's a way that they share their memories. Originally, we started off having an inspirational object, but everybody in the class has such diverse interests that I soon realized we had to switch. So now we have books that are different things that inspire them. But I did bring some of the paintings because they're so special, and I figured you could
Yeah.
get a feel for it. So this one, the gentleman described the story. He said, "This is the way it was before with Alzheimer's disease," and he's talking about over here. "It was gray and full of garbage. This, the lower corner, is how Alzheimer's is after coming here, full of warmth and friendship and serenity."
Oh.
So they're, it's the beautiful, beautiful stories, and they create these paintings, and they're all very different. There's another gentleman
And
who...
is that early stage?
This
A
is
dementia?
relatively early stage. This gentleman is relatively early stage, but yeah, it doesn't really matter the art is different at different stages. Certainly, there's a gentleman who's a little bit more of a different stage, and his story was weird. It's supposed to be a chicken, but it looks more like a dog. So you're going to see a lot of different stories. He's got a great sense of humor, so his paintings always have that element of humor to them. And then we have another gentleman who I have to bring in travel books for him, because whenever he paints something, he wants to paint a place where he has gone in his travels in his life. So this one was, I've been to St. Basil's Cathedral in Russia. You can go into the foyer, but not the church. It has a vaulted arch building, that sort of thing. There was a lot of orangish color. So they're all, different levels and different stories.
Now, it's the people who are diagnosed with dementia that
Yes.
come to the center.
Correct.
And these are not, you do not do this in other settings, institutional settings.
There are lots of different places where Memories in the Making takes place. I believe it was started by the Alzheimer's Association. I volunteer. I'm actually not the person that originated the program or anything. This is something I volunteered to do. But yes, there are different nursing homes and such where they have this program occurring as well. But yes, it is specifically for people who have memory impairment.
So you're a volunteer for the Alzheimer's Association rather than a therapist, or
Correct.
who's your background?
My background is in social work, actually. So
Okay.
yes, I have no artistic ability, and nobody needs to have artistic ability to participate in this program, certainly.
Okay, and is it always, I notice these are watercolors?
Yes, it's watercolor.
Always watercolor.
Oh, there's once in a while, if somebody has difficulty with the watercolor, we have watercolor pens that are a little more easy to use. So sometimes we'll bring those out. We did for this gentleman. This was an interesting story. He said, "They say when you paint, it's a person's mind as close to the original as possible. I used to be a manager for Campbell's Soup. I guess I did a good enough job that I got a retirement. Tomato soup became my favorite flavor because it became completely different product when you add basil." So, just unique stories, life stories that you preserve in a way
Yes.
that, perhaps you would say those things in a conversation, but it's more powerful when he gets to paint it.
So the story is as important as the artwork.
Absolutely.
Or more important.
Absolutely,
maybe.
I think so. I mean, I believe it's about, it's an environment that's full of a lot of laughter. We have a great time together, and
Okay.
it's a very joyful activity. But yes, you know, the stories are certainly something
And is the
beautiful to
family
preserve.
there as well?
The family is not there during the actual class, but they spend a good chunk of time with us before and after, and you know, we share.
Sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
So if people want to participate or have their family members participate,
Absolutely.
they would contact you.
The Alzheimer's
contact the
Association.
Alzheimer's Association.
Correct.
I want to thank you for sharing the
Thank
benefits
you.
of art therapy and showing the work, and
Thank you.
and most of all, sharing the personal value that the person had in what they've done. And then I understand when you auction them, people can frame them and
Yes.
display
Oh,
them.
we have
and
a-
some of them were great.
Wonderful. They get them framed in these beautiful frames, and helps look for a cause for Alzheimer's, which is
Thank you.
Thank you so
much. There's no question that creative self-expression helps people. I hope you've learned that it can resolve a multitude of problems by developing interpersonal skills, managing behavior, reducing stress. I've learned a lot, and thank you so much for coming.
Appreciate it.
Join us again next time for Aging is for Everyone. Goodbye from Marian Deutschman, sitting in for Laura Mondello. Thank you.